Okay, let's experience N26. Max von Tayenthal, I think it's one, we checked, I think it's the second most valued unicorn in Germany, and it's obviously riding, not being the Fintech revolution. When people think about Fintech, they think about N26. So we are approaching the end of year. I know that you've been incredibly busy. Give us an update. What's cooking at N26? What keeps you busy? You've done a fundraise at the peak of the market. I think just before the market came down a little bit. Luckily, I think you raised quite a lot, so you could have observed the tumult from the distance with a relatively relaxed feeling. Where does N26 stand now?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me first. I think I was sure you will ask the question. I was thinking about it. I think it's my fourth time. I think my co-founder Valentin was here like 2 or 3 times. Always happy to be back. Yes, first of all, I think we doing this for like 10 years. You see, as we say in German, the pendulum swinging one way and the other way quite often over that time. So everything from being like very aggressive on growth and metrics around expansion of the business accounting to everything super tight as we're seeing right now. Like sometimes you get the timing right, sometimes you get it wrong. Like this time we got it perfectly right. We just had the second closing of our 900 million Series E funding round, 26th of November 21. So for memory, the markets peaked the 30th of November, and obviously right now being a very different world. For the next year, like priorities, what keeps us excited and busy, not surprisingly, it will be expansion of the business. And when we talk about expansion, it's in 2 areas. Like one, it's about getting our product to more customers. So we will work on virality of the product, driving up the net promoter score, reducing friction for the customer, improving conversion, like bringing a lot of viral features to the market. And on the other side, it's about expansion of the product. So we very much believe, we want to be a partner of our customers in financial matters, and wealth creation is an important topic. And we believe that the only way for a big number of our customers to build up a certain level of wealth is build up a certain exposure in a well-diversified portfolio of equities, of crypto, of other asset categories. And we are building these features now, and we are launching these to as many customers as possible in the next year.
Interesting. And what type of challenges you had to overcome in the past? I remember the BaFin was looking very hard at the business when it comes to like fraud on the platform, and I think you have done a lot of cleanup internally on that. And recently, I think there was some news that the cap of new customers being added has been increased. So it looks like you have not only pleased your investors, but also the regulator in Germany. And tell us the journey and how the business model has changed and how you are positioning for 2024. I mean, you said you are adding more wealth management, which is a bit like, I guess, what Raisin and Deposit Solutions has been doing. So you're expanding the platform. But what challenges on the regulatory side were there, and how is it going to shape out?
Yeah, first of all, it has been an incredible ride. Like startup has been in literally every dimension that counts to me, has been the most meaningful thing I've ever done. But it has also been an incredibly challenging ride. I actually am sure Johannes, who was just speaking, has forgotten it already. But when I was, like as he rightfully pointed out, company was founded 15 years ago, N26 we founded about 10 years ago. And when I moved, like super young founder, moved in 2013, we just founded the company, we moved to Berlin, and we were in this accelerator program, like which is kind of a shared office space where you also get a little bit of money. And with every batch there, they were like inviting one experienced founder. And in our case, it has been Johannes Reck, and he was talking about, this company, it has been at the cliff many times in the past, but now obviously well-funded, super stable, super secure company. And the interesting thing about it, I always remember that, and then, 2020, like literally 7 years later, COVID hit, and again, everyone was fighting for their survival. And it's really like if you read pretty much any biography of so many people, like in the tech space, you see that these up and downs is very much a part of your journey. And we all want to build something great, very limited resources, and that means you need to take a lot of risk. Like in our case, we are competing with the big banks that have 1,000x more funding that we are having, and we want to be, we want to be the best. We want to be the leading, digital bank in Europe and beyond. We want to build the first pan-European financial institution. Eventually, we want to build the first global financial institution. When it comes to specifically, how to develop the business model, like if you think about fintech, it's actually quite interesting, and it's different to many other industries. If you think about e-commerce, you have limited investment at the beginning, and there's other business models like this. But then if you want to scale it, if you think about, Zalando, great company, but they have 20,000 people, many of them working in warehouses, packaging shoes. You have a lot of tied up working capital. Like with fintech, you can almost say it's the other way around, right? You're building, like in our case, a bank license, compliance, reporting to the regulator, AML, KYC, process integration to process cards. But then you build this platform once, and if you do it right, it doesn't matter for us if we sign up 50 customers tomorrow or 50,000 customers tomorrow. And that is obviously a very big difference compared to traditional banks. Now we have built this platform, and it takes a long time, by the way, which is also a tremendous challenge for earlier stage fintech startups, because funding markets are incredibly tight. And then I do a lot of startup investments, and I do it mainly in the fintech space. And then you have this amazing company, 3 or 4 years old, and then the investors tell them, there's no new funding, and it needs to be profitable in 9 months. And in many cases, that's not possible. It would also not have been possible 6 or 7 years ago for N26. But now we have this platform, and now we can scale it to as many customers as possible. And the one challenge, the one question, if this is going to be a 5 billion, a 2 billion, a 10 or a 50 billion euro company in 5 or 10 years from now, the only question is to how many customers we can scale that platform. Usually when you develop a business, you have 2 questions to answer. One is growth, and the other one is unit economics. Now, unit economics has been the biggest question for many years. When I was at conferences like this, when I was giving interviews, when I was talking to people, the biggest question I always received is, how can you monetize these customers? And it's true, for many years, N26 was highly negative. Every customer was negative, and the more active a customer was, the more negative such customer was. And it's also true, no one has ever monetized the customer base in a zero interest rate, even negative interest rate environment, with a capped interchange and without fees. We always had a strong conviction that if you have 5 million, 10 million, 50 million customers that trust us and that use N26 for their daily financial transactions, we can now monetize these customers in a fair and transparent way. Now, 10 years fast forward, we are obviously one of the few industries, one of the few companies that are benefiting from the current environment. I think the fundraising environment, the IPO environment is as bad as for everyone else, but we have a balance sheet, and if you have 10 billion customer funds, it makes a very big difference if your baseline for treasury is minus 50 basis points ECB rate, or it's 400 basis points. And that alone has changed massively the economics. And just name one more challenge, which is an obvious one, really to maintain this agility in a highly regulated environment. And we see, I think, the one company that's going to win is the one that is understanding regulations best. It's no secret. We have seen tremendous challenges from compliance topics, from non-compliance, from interactions with regulators. but our peers, be it Revolut, also Monzo, less known to the outside, many others have seen similar challenges. And I think to really master that and stay agile in such a highly regulated environment is definitely key for success.
Looks like you are thinking daily and minute-wise about this. You can go on and on for hours. Maybe one last question before we go to the next group, because we're actually running a little bit behind schedule. When you were saying earlier we want to help our customers to do more things, do you edge to the services of a Check24 even? I mean, is consumer finance or the money supermarket type of UK equivalent, is insurance or any type of comparison part of that journey in the future, or is it banking only?
Yeah, it is a good question. Like, we want to be, it's a question of prioritization. Like, I'm far more concerned about offering a very good equity product, brokerage account to our customers, or to offer a great savings account with good interest. Much more concerned about that than that someone is like able to order a taxi or order their food via N26. I think it is an interesting case to monetize, and there's examples in other parts of the world. I think it is interesting to monetize like a very active user population, like through other verticals. But we are not done building the banking product platform yet, and there's like a lot of more things we need to do, and the customers expect
more
from
on
us.
the investing side than on adjacencies. Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I think it was like the 7th or the 8th update.